Well, the culture at the university has changed a lot since I've been here, simply because we've gone from a college to a university and gone from the CCAA into CIS and now Usports. So it's certainly become a lot more competitive within our program and culturally on campus. Certainly there's a lot more people playing basketball day in and day out in the gyms when we're not in practice or in games. And so you can see that culture outside of our program developing on campus as well. But within our program, we're continuing to build our culture through that transition from CCAA to Usport. Now we've been Usport for quite a while, and trying to build that consistent culture within our program.
I think we have a good culture. It's definitely gotten really good this year with the group of guys we have. Yeah, it's fun. I don't know, my first year here, we weren't very good. We had a lot of young guys. We didn't have a ton of size. Like last year we were a pretty good team, and this year we got a bunch of new guys in. But I think some of the struggles were kind of due to personnel, but I really think if you got a good culture, then it's all going to work itself out.
I'd say the culture here is honestly better than I thought it would be. It's actually a good group of guys that we have this year. I'm not too sure how it was before I was here, but from this year, the guys seem pretty focused, competitive. They want to get better. We have a good team atmosphere. It's always about making sure we're all doing our best. And I think that's kind of translating to the strong start we're having in our season.
I think the culture at MRU is just getting better. It's a more funner atmosphere, in and out the locker room. I think everyone's just more friendly atmosphere, more competitive. Everyone wants to get better. And I think that's the thing that's gone better over the years. The desire to get better and putting the work in collectively, to reach our goals.
The culture here I think it's good. With me coming from the U.S., I don't think it's as good as the U.S. because the U.S. kind of prides itself off of basketball and football. And me personally, I haven't heard too much about Canada as far as basketball, but then when I did hear stuff, it was good. So it seems like it's an upcoming, and the stuff that they are doing, I like it. And I feel like they can grow more throughout the process. It's just, baby steps and they getting started. But the little time I have been here, I've liked it.
Well, we've got a great academic institution here at Mount Royal. It's a great place to go to school and get a degree. There's a lot of benefits academically for kids going here. Obviously, our location in the Calgary area is ideal for recruitment. And we're a young program, and we're continuing to build. We develop players when they come in here. We're a lot about player development, and so when kids come in here, they're gonna get the attention in their game, and we see skill development within our program. So we feel like we've got great opportunities for kids coming in, being a young program. We develop kids when they're here, and we've got great opportunities here with our academics to be successful.
Knock it down. 16. Red. One, two, three, 4.
Yeah, I'd say first the education here is good. Then I'd say second, I'd say the quality of basketball has gotten better past couple of years. So first the education, second the quality has gotten better.
I think with the development of these prep schools in Alberta and Calgary and Edmonton is kind of gives kids more motivation, a localized motivation, and they don't have to kind of look to the States or other places if they want to, say, take their game to the next level or want to have opportunities to go pro or get scholarships to play at universities. So it kind of gives them more like another path per se, instead of having to relocate to somewhere far away from all their friends and family.
Well, most people want to stay close to home. That's the big thing, you know. Like before, like, you know, when you want to play competitive basketball, you got to go to the States or whatever. But now, like, you know, Canadian basketball is evolved. Like, you know, you can stay home and play competitively, get the same opportunities. So I think that's where the enthusiasm's gone better.
So I had plenty of offers in the States, but like I wanted to do something different. Like I came from Mississippi to Minnesota, and that was something different. That was a major jump for me, doing it by myself. So I wanted to leave the country and play, because you know I knew I could play in the States, but I didn't want to. So I reached out to Canada schools, and then everybody started reaching out to me. One Canada school reached out to me, then all of them started reaching out to me. So there was 17 Usports teams in Canada, and I think I had 13 of them. And the reason I chose MRU was because my coach, Mark, he was reaching out to me every day, checking up on me, making sure I was straight, because it was a lot of processing to get me here, like passport, fees, and like moving, all that stuff. So he was like, the coach Joe was just on me every day. Like he didn't miss a day. Other coaches were checking in, but it was every like week or 2 weeks. And so I felt like he was loyal to me, so I had to be loyal to him too.
In MRU, we do what we can to bring kids into MRU. I think the opportunities within Canada to keep kids in Canada is affected a little bit by the scholarship differences between the American and the Canadian systems. And then the traditional factors with kids going down to the States having more opportunity to play professionally when they're done. I think that's now changing, and the Canadian landscape and the level of play in Canada has increased significantly, and many kids are leaving Usport and playing professionally, and then the introduction of the CEBL and other Canadian professional leagues are just increasing the opportunities for Canadians to play professionally in the sport after they're done their Usport career. So the more those opportunities are presented and around, and if we can increase scholarship opportunities, I think we'll be able to keep more Canadian kids who are at that elite level in Canadian institutions.
I'd say there's always room for growth no matter what. Just in terms of coming from Edmonton, I'd say for Calgary, they're a lot more focused here on basketball. There's a lot more opportunities for basketball here. And I think that is kind of why you see you tend to be stronger players that come out of Calgary in comparison to Edmonton. And I think that's why the schools here even tend to get a lot more interested people wanting to come here as well.
Yeah, like I think there is big growth just because there's a lot of diversity, a lot of different people playing, different backgrounds and stuff. So definitely a lot of room to grow, but I think it's going in that direction.
Yeah, so it all starts from the youth. Like the youth, like they need like other athletes, you know, to look up to. Like when they see like how like Usports basketball is evolving, you know, that interests them a little bit into like getting involved in that as they get older. So it's just like the influence is there, you know, like it's evolving in Alberta for sure.
You know, like I'm given a scholarship, and you know, the trainers are, you know, always asking questions, how you feeling, all this stuff. Yeah, like I've had a good experience at Mount Royal. So
I kind of chose MRU because like I know the coaching staff. So John Reese, he coached me when I was younger. So kind of him and then a whole two was in here earlier. We all kind of grew up playing basketball together. So they kind of told me that it's a good school, it's a good program, and that they showed me that the environment here was like really focused on basketball, which is the environment I like to be in. So that was probably a really big part of me choosing to come here.
I just wanted to stay home close to my family. Like I was born and raised in Calgary, so just like for me, I can just like stay close to my family, just like, you know, help them out here and there. I get kind of homesick when I'm away from home, so I just felt like the opportunity to play in my hometown city is a good opportunity for me.
From high school so far to university, I'd say the change is just like the people when they come out. Like in high school, when you have a home opener, the whole school will be there. It's a crazy environment. You kind of get that Americanized feel, which brings you that extra energy, and it just makes it an overall good experience. Whereas so far, due to like I'd say the promotion of how they promote the basketball games here, you don't get as much people out, so the environment tends to be a little more modest, and it's kind of just a little more just parents and maybe a couple siblings.
People for basketball, and it's like my former teammate was saying, or teammate, like people come out to the game, like we don't have to do as much advertising, no matter what the level is, like from D3 all the way to D1, like people will come out and support if they're in the hometown, like no matter freezing rain. Like I came from Minnesota, so it was like, it gets cold there too, and then we would still have like a nice crowd, like 300 people, and I feel like they cared about the sport more than like just looking at it as like any other sport. It's not just a sport to them, like they actually love to watch it, and they don't care who's playing, black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. Like they just come out to support. And I haven't been here that long to like disrespect Canada and say, oh, people are not gonna come out. In the first game I did have at home, a few people did come out. I mean, it wasn't as much as I thought it would be, but like as time goes on, then I'll be able to tell. But as far as what I've seen, like I feel like the US values basketball a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we see an increase in fans with rivalry games. I don't necessarily, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't have the statistics, but it doesn't feel like we've had a huge increase in number of fans over the last 10 years, but game by game, depending on our opponent and the rivalry that we have with that particular team, we'll see an increase in fans.
Yeah, I'd say it could be better. It's not the best. I'd just say like the promotion of it isn't great. You know, like you don't really see anything other than within the university. Like you don't see, I don't know, like paper flyouts, let's say, or you know, like when I was a kid in elementary here, like nobody would tell me about it, right? You just would have to go online and find out when the games are. So I think all schools could do a better job promoting it to kids, because you know I didn't go to really any Usports games until I was in high school, kind of when teams were interested in me. So I'd say they could do a better job like promoting it to kids.
Well, I think the university works hard to try and market our games and promote our sports within the institution. I think culturally, you know, Canada is a hockey first nation, and so I think we combat that a little bit and trying to change perception and change habits of what people do on a Friday and Saturday night. It's not easy. We've tried many things here at the school, and if I had an answer, you know, we'd have our stands packed. But I think it's a complex problem that probably has many different solutions that we haven't fully solved yet.
I would say more like kind of people giving out flyers or posters, or people walking around the campus, sending out emails, stuff like that, to just remind people, because yeah, they might see the little big posters we have around the school, but like it doesn't stick in their minds, so they might forget about it. So doing little things like that just to kind of keep it in people's minds throughout the week, so when the time comes they don't forget, then it'll help a lot to bring people out, because if people come out, then they're going to want to bring their friends, and then it's just going to spread the word. And then
well, the turnout, I mean, it hasn't been that great. We've had a few games like over the years where we have like above average turnout, but it all comes down to like promotion and like advertising your games. Like a lot of people don't know they're going on, so that's just, you know. But I think it is getting better. Like more people are interested in college basketball in Canada, so more and more people are coming to our games. And I think over the years it's gonna be better and better.
I feel like they can promote it more, like as far as just like going to getting people to come perform at halftime, or even like giving out, like, I know this is kind of like not the right thing to say, but I feel like if teachers were to give out like lessons, like you have to go to the game in order to work on this project or something like that, I feel like we would give more students to come out, because at that point they would have no choice but to come out, because you have to talk about it in class the next day. So I feel like if they make it more fun and more educating for the students, I feel like they will come out, because most students are at home probably doing homework, or you know, we play on Friday, Saturday, some are probably getting ready to go out. So like they made it more fun, more educating, and more like if you go, then it's benefiting you instead of just benefiting us.
I say taking advantage of social media. Like me, when I was a kid, I honestly didn't even know what Usports was until maybe like late grade 11, when I kind of school started talking to me and stuff. So I feel like getting that social media presence, because we all have phones nowadays, and even kids that are in friggin' elementary have phones. So that social media presence and getting that stuff out there to all the ages will definitely help to just kind of get basketball more known in Alberta and as a whole to everyone.
Hey!
another route that we didn't have in the past, obviously, you know, to chase those professional, you know, dreams, you know, without even having to go to the US. You can just like stay home, play university basketball, and then, you know, play in the CBL, and then from there you can go wherever you want to go, I guess. So just open a whole new different route, and that's helped with the evolving Canadian basketball, I think.
Well, I think it's a huge opportunity for our kids. It's something that they can see and you know, feel and go out and be a part of. You know, Calgary's got a new team coming up this spring, so now guys on my team can go and watch that local team and you know, start to develop that motivation to potentially play professionally in Calgary, which has never been an opportunity before. It's never been provided before. So I think it's just going to continue to motivate not only our kids but all Canadian kids once they see that there's viable opportunities close by, and the caliber of basketball in those professional leagues with many Canadian players is quite good, and so once people get out and watch it play, I think those leagues are going to grow and become more popular because of the level of basketball that's being played.
I feel like they can make it more rewarding. I feel like people play the sport just to play it, just to get through school, but like you can obviously get a lot more out of this. Like you can get to know people, different cultures. Basketball can take you so much more places on the earth than you would ever know. Meeting people, rewarding too. Like just say for instance, if you do well in the school and you make it pro or overseas, wherever you want to go, and then you get a contract like a 10-day in the NBA, like that can, like, it can open so many pathways for you. And it's not just like a sport where you could just play and it's just okay, you just play it, but like it's a good sport, and it's like it humbles like the most. I don't understand. Like it's so much love in the sport. Like it's crazy.
Well, I think the growth has been pretty good. You know, the club systems have continued to increase the number of kids that are participating in the sport. There are opportunities to get touches and be coached, and get gym time has increased, and so I think Alberta has done a pretty good job with our club system in growing it, and we're now starting to see the rise of prep schools and postgraduate programs prior to coming to university. It's a pretty new phenomenon. I'm not sure how it's going to affect the post-secondary transition for players, but I think it's been an interesting transition that's come about in the last few years here in Alberta, and I'm excited to continue to see the growth here. I think there's been a lot of growth recently, and just adding the CEBL team, I think will continue to do that.